My name is Asia Brooks, and I will be speaking about the Gettysburg Address, as presented by Abraham Lincoln, our nation's 16th president. The occasion that this speech was written for was the dedication of the Soldiers' National Cemetery in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, on November 19, 1863. The name of the cemetery was later changed to the Gettysburg National Cemetery. The reasoning behind the cemetery being placed on that battlefield is because the Battle of Gettysburg was considered one of the bloodiest battles in American history and a turning point in the Civil War. The speech is considered important and relevant in today's society because of the morals and ideas that Lincoln spoke of. They are the very ideals on which this nation was created and the basis for our government. The audience that Lincoln was directly speaking to were the 15,000 or so people that had gathered for the dedication of the Soldiers' National Cemetery, among which were governors from 6 of the 24 Union states. The implied audience, I believe, was the future Americans, as a reminder of the sacrifice made to keep our freedom and that our government was one meant to be ruled by those who created it. Lincoln relied on pathos to move those that were in attendance. He made clear that we could never repay those whom had lost their lives. Lincoln refers back to the Declaration of Independence as a way to communicate that everyone there was a part of a nation as a whole, and to point out the similarities in the Union and Confederate beliefs. He also uses government of the people, by the people, for the people, which is a repetitious phrase on its own behalf. 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that the nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But, in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus so far nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here, dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not die in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.